Hi, this is Mike with Skull Dynasty, and today we're going to go over a topic that came up on Twitter a while back about transparency and return on investment in leagues. I'm not a portfolio player, I only play in three Dynasty leagues, so I'm going to go through each team and explain what happened to each roster. So, my first roster is a one quarterback start eight. I finished 7-7, but I did have a ton of injuries. Kirk Cousins got hurt, Dobbins got hurt, Jefferson got hurt for a long period of time, and Mark Andrews towards the end of the season as well. So this team finished 7-7, made the playoffs, lost in the first round. I lost by about 2 points. So that's what happened with that team. So what I try to do with all the injuries I had, I'll explain my process. So Cousins got hurt. I just kind of filled the quarterback position with backup replacement waiver wire pieces. So I had Aiden O'Connell, also had Jake Browning, also had Kenny Pickett. So by the end of the season, I was starting Jake Browning to fill in that hole at quarterback. So that worked out pretty well, actually. For the Dobbins injuries, that happened early in the season. So my starting running backs were Swift and Pollard for most of the year. And then in my flex, I had Dobbins. So for the flex most of the year, I had Jerome Ford because of the injury to Nick Chubb. I usually roster a bunch of backup running backs to play the percentage games because a lot of these starting running backs go down throughout the year. So that's how I fixed that issue. Jefferson going down hurt me the most. Obviously, he's a real difference maker at the position. I did go out and acquire Cooper Kupp during the middle of the year. He was also dealing with his own injuries. So my wide receiver core was probably like the weakness of my team for a long stretch of the season. I was putting out Waddle. I also had Deontay Johnson. He was hurt a lot. So I was starting Waddle, Sutton. I just filling in the position, Cup most of the week, so that wasn't working out too well. And then at tight end, I had Mark Andrews. He got hurt towards like the middle of the season last year, so I just picked up a waiver wire. K. Dotton, obviously, he didn't make a huge difference. So this roster was really hurting at wide receiver and tight end for most of the year. I was able to survive, get in the playoffs somehow, and put up a good fight. So that was team one. Um, a couple of moves I'm looking to make on this roster, just looking at it. I have a second round pick and a third round pick. So I usually tend to hold on to them picks until rookie draft times because that's when the peak value is. I would either look to trade out for a veteran, maybe somebody like Amari Cooper or something like that for the second round pick. I hold the 204 or stick and pick. Most likely the best player available there is going to be a running back. Based on Fantasy Pros, there's three running backs around that range: Blake Corum, Brandon Allen, and Marshawn Lloyd. They're the three guys that are going around that range. So most likely, if they're not selected by the time I'm up, there are three guys I'm highly interested in. And I have the 304 as well. These were actually picks from a different trade I did. They're not my own picks. That range, maybe Bucky Irving will fall there. I know he had a bad combine, but I still like his film. He's worth a shot. He reminds me of like somebody like Mitchell from the Ravens last year. He fits that mold. Pretty shifty. He looked fast on film. I don't know what happened at the combine there, but that's team one. Team two is this roster. I really like this roster a lot. Team two. This is a super flex start start 10 and is a 10 teamer. I finished third in points. My record was 7-6. I lost in the first round in the playoffs as well. I hit bad variance. My team was projected to win by about 15 or 16 points, and this team's roster had everyone hit on the same week. I think he had Laporta, Goff. You know, there was like multiple players with 30 plus points, so I just got hammered that week. I just had really bad luck. Um, this team is pretty solid most of the year. My quarterbacks are Josh Allen, um, Justin Herbert. My tight end, I have George Kittle. My running back, I have as my anchor, I have Mixon, I have Ford, and other backup running backs. My wide receivers are Amon-Ra St. Brown, Garrett Wilson, Higgins, Deontay, Godwin, and Ayuk. So I really like this team a lot. I also hold the 105 and the 205 in this year's draft. So most likely at the 105, you're looking at probably Drake May. I'm guessing would fall there. So some people I would look to trade out for, or maybe like Puka Nacua or Kyler Murray in that range. Um, and then in the second round, I held the 205. That's probably a prime area to draft a running back in that range. Also, if I was looking to trade it out, some targets, I would go to, or maybe somebody like Matthew Stafford, just so I have a solid quarterback 3. Or somebody like Alvin Kamara, pass catching running back that's a little bit undervalued due to age. So they're the moves I'm looking to make. I really like this team. No changes are really needed on this roster. Maybe just, drafting some rookies or picking up some vets, but no real movement is needed on this team, I feel. The third roster, this roster is a 14-team Superflex start 10. This roster finished 9-5, so it was my best record. My quarterback room was Cousins and Lamar. Obviously, Cousins went down this year with an injury. So I had issues there at quarterback. I was constantly filling it with quarterbacks like Tommy DeVito, guys like that off the waiver wire. So that was really a huge hole in my roster. I traded for Kyler Murray for 3 first-round picks I gave up, and I also got a third back in the deal just to fill in my quarterback 2 spot there. So I really like that trade, because other trades I was looking at were trading for Josh Dobbs, and he didn't work out over time. So you got to trust that draft capital and 2 years of production, especially with quarterbacks. So I'm glad I made that deal instead of getting Dobbs and wasting a pick. Also a tight end. I had Andrews on this roster as well. I'm a big Mark Andrews guy. So that was a weakness on his team. I filled it with Conklin for a little bit. My running back room on this team is really well built. It's probably my best built running back room. I have guys like Rashad White, Najee Harris, Tony Pollard. I had Jerome Ford as well. So this team for a 14 team was pretty well built at the running back position. Wide receivers, I have Scary Terry, Deontay, Brandon Ayuk, and Mike Evans. So a very stable mix of veteran players. And then so this team went into the playoffs and lost by 2 points as well. Don't have any draft capital on this team. I went kind of all in on this roster, so I don't have any draft picks really in 2024. And also I gave up 3 first-round picks. So I just got to go into next year, try to just compete with this team. So my return on investment on all 3 of these teams is 0%. All 3 teams made the playoffs, and they're the adjustments and where I stand with each team. So that was it for this episode. I'll try to make an episode next week as well. Maybe we'll do some trade targets, you know, throughout the NFL. See what trade targets are available at each position and for the right cost. We'll go through that next week. That's it for today. Have a great day. Bye.